What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm just doing a quick showing of my Mark 12 build. Of course, this is not a complete, it's not the rifle's not done yet. I still need to put iron sights on it, the Knights Armament iron sights. I got a rear sight for it, but I figured I'd at least kind of go over what I have in it. This is the correct Knights Armament rail, as well as the gas block and the Ops Inc. brake, as well as a Mark 12 barrel made by Centurion Arms. The correct Harris bipod. Of course, the Knights Armament foregrip. And the correct gas buster charging handle. This is an A1 stock. It's a reproduction stock, just because I didn't feel like spending the stupid money on an original. It does not have the D plate. However, I will end up getting the D plate. The D plate does not have the trap door right here, and it's smooth going down. Most of your Mark 12s will have the D plate on here. Of course, I didn't go with a A1 style grip. I went with an ergo grip because that's a lot more comfortable, and I went with a BCM trigger guard. I used an LMT lower, and I don't remember. I think that was a BCM upper. If I remember correctly, this is a BCM upper. My scope, this is one I got out of a trade, so I just threw it on there because it works. It's a Vortex Viper. See the Viper right there? Vortex Viper. It's a nice scope. It works just fine for what I need. I'll eventually put the Night Force or Loophole on here. But for right now, this scope works just fine. I essentially have just a couple $100 in this scope versus spending over $1,000 or so on the Night Force or the Loophole. And the Loopholes, they don't make the Mark 4s anymore, or the Mark 4 that was on this rifle. They don't make those anymore. So those are getting harder to find. I will also eventually get the correct suppressor for this gun as well, but that's going to be later on. I also did put a Geisley SSA trigger. It's either SSA or SSAE. I think it's an E. But I put the correct trigger. The trigger that's supposed to be in this gun, the Mark 12s, the Geisley that's supposed to be in there, that's what's in here. I mean, that's really about it. For a price breakdown, it took me, I'd say, a good 1.5 to 2 years to, from start to finish, buying a piece here and there, stuff like that, just because I had other builds that I was doing and just other things that are going on. You can check that stuff out on my channel as well. The barrel, I paid about either like a little less than $500 for the barrel. This was about $200. I don't remember how much the gas block was. $20-$30, I think. And this is the correct gas block. The bipod, $100. The Knights Armament adapter here. I actually got that on eBay for $10-$15. I mean, it's used, but I don't care. It works just fine. The foregrip, the Knights Armament foregrip, I paid $5 for that on eBay. The rail pieces came with the rail. The rail, I paid about $400 for it. The stock, I paid $100 for it. The LMT receiver, I paid, I think, $1.25 for it without the parts in it. Trigger, I paid, I think, $150-$200 max, maybe, for it. Don't quote me on the trigger price. The gas buster charging handle, I paid $100 for it. The ergo grip was like $15, and the upper itself was, what was it, $125. Also do have a Centurion Arms bolt in here as well, and I paid, I think, $1.25, $1.50 for it. The scope, like I said, I have a few $100s in it. I traded an old beat up, worn out Jeep for it, and so I think these scopes new, with just the scope itself, was like $400. This, I can't remember how much the level was. They're kind of expensive. The mount is also a really good solid mount. I don't know who makes it. I'm assuming it's, I actually don't know who makes the mount. Like I said, I got it in a trade. But I'm happy with the scope. It works just fine. Trigger guard was about $15. The internal parts of the receiver, I already had those, so I don't know the pricing on what I spent on those. But those aren't too cheap. I mean, honestly, I think most of your most of the springs and stuff in here, the pins and the mag release and bolt catch, came from Palmetto. So, I mean, they're all the same. So anybody that tells you different, yeah, no, that's not right. So they mainly have a couple manufacturers making the small parts for the thousand AR manufacturers out there. And like I said, I need to get the Knight's Arm front sight. I've got a rear sight right now. Of course, not on the gun, but I do have a rear sight. Also, how I painted this, I did not, or actually I used the Coyote or Khaki, whatever, Rust-Oleum paint. Of course, I taped off the muzzle brake, the collar, of course, the end of the scope, your turrets, everything here. I taped all that stuff off. I taped off the trigger, of course, the grip. I didn't even tape off the bolt. Yeah, let's see if we can get that in view. There. I didn't even tape off the bolt. All I did was just close the dust cover. But that's all I taped off. This here is just wear from me using the rifle. Same thing with all this stuff here. Yeah, I mean, like that's wear, this is wear, stuff like that. I mean, you can see where I got a little bit of paint on the grip, which I don't really care. Yeah, when the military paints these things, they're not perfect. They slap paint on them, and then they send them out in the field. But this has just been a quick walk around of it, and a little bit of a price breakdown. This is honestly one of my favorite rifles. Right now, I'm just shooting the garbage green tip out of it, which actually does pretty well out of this rifle. It will do a lot better with the Black Hills Mark 262 ammo, but for just plinking and shooting, I'm not going to shoot high expensive stuff. I'm going to shoot this green tip. So if I need more accurate shots, then I can go with the Black Hills. So, but at 150, 200 yards, which I did this with I did it at 125 yards. Almost as fast as I could pull the trigger, I dumped a 30-round mag into a target and kept it well within a chest-size mass. And that was, again, it was up on a bipod, no rear support, and I was just up on a table and just pulling the trigger just about as fast as I could and kept it well within a chest-size mass. And then I put about five or six rounds about the same speed into a head size, or into the head of a target at that same distance. And I know for sure, and I have done it, this rifle will stretch out farther. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If y'all would like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. This has just been a quick little view of my Mark 12. Go check out my other videos as well. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to y'all later.